Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of your homeliest black podcast out there. Welcome to another episode. Can I kick an MC? I told you I was working on another intro. We're gonna keep workshopping it, bring back better results. We're gonna keep workshopping. Yeah, I'm your host as always, Elliot, and joining
Oh
me
man.
is my awesome co-host Shanir Duran the second. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, doing good. Um, Ready to get dig into this one, really dig in.
Yeah. Um, we're talking about, if you didn't know, one of my favorite players. I think it was a recent tweet out about who are four players, past or present, you will pay good money to go see. Like, who would you pay like a substantial amount of money to go watch live in their prime? And my four were Manuel Neuer, um, Sergio Ramos, Lionel Messi, and Kylian Mbappe. And today we're talking about Mr. Kylian Mbappe. That's that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
I mean, his
Yeah,
accolades
he was
are
on.
endless.
He's
But what
on
do
my
you
list
mention?
too. He's on my list too. He's definitely on my list. Um, the guy is electrifying. He's he, he's unplayable. Like he's to the level of I remember around the time of COVID when you could actually hear the players communicating with each other because there was no one in the stands.
Yeah,
And hearing, I remember a game with, I think it was against Barcelona where one of the defenders up against Messi was getting cooked left and right. And the coach was telling him, like you're gonna let him beat you every time. He says when I get close to him, he goes past me. When I stay far away, he passes or shoots. Well, what am I supposed to do? I think Kylian Mbappe is the 2.0 of that with pace, and he's just one of those players that no matter what you do, he's gonna break some ankles. He's gonna cook you. He's going to do some damage to defensive lines.
yeah. Like, I think the best way to describe Mbappe is he's almost like he's almost like LeBron of soccer. Like in terms of like you can put him in so like he can literally play every attacking spot. He can play left wing, left forward, striker, right forward, right wing, center attacking mid, center forward. Like this man, you can plug him anywhere and he works. Like there's very few players in the world that can
Oh
do
yeah,
that and there's no dip in their performance. Like Anthony from Manchester United, the only place he works at that, well, 10 all things he works at is right wing. Marcus Rashford, he only works on the left side. Or
yeah,
Holland. Like Holland is a purebred striker. Like you can't put Holland out on the wing, right? Because it takes away his effectiveness. And Mbappe, you can truly move him anywhere in that attack, and he works.
yeah, yeah. Because if you look, for example, right now, for the most part, you see Kylian Mbappe playing as a central striker for PSG.
Yeah.
When he first came to PSG, he was a left winger. When he won the World Cup in 2018, he was a right winger for France. So it's like he played that whole front line and just killed it
In 2022, he
every
was playing
single time in
striker.
every position. Exactly.
Yeah, he was playing striker in 2022. And I think during the Euros, he was playing center forward. Like we said, this man can play anywhere and be great. Like I think, like you
Yeah.
were saying before we started recording there about how Mbappe is like the perfect encapsulation of so many greats that we've seen before. Like he has the flair of a Ronaldinho, but he has the strength of a Samuel Eto'o or Ronaldo. He has this goal scoring capabilities of a Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo. I said Ronaldo, but he has the technique in tight spaces as Messi. He has the flair of a
And then
Neymar.
he has the pace of Roberto Carlos.
Right. It is just like, yo, did it make you in a lab? Like, how does this work? Like,
Yeah, no, I think it was two competing high science labs that created Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. And Kylian Mbappe, the lab that made Erling Haaland were going more for the Terminator, and Kylian Mbappe came out when the other lab they said, all right, let's just piece together the best aspect of all of the greats.
it's
And
like God
yeah,
was
I think
literally like, I'm gonna take the greats of all these soccer players I made and put it into this one black kid, and here you go. Like,
yeah,
yo, it's
it's
insane.
to be honest with you, he's the second coming of Pele because Pele was the same way. Pele was he was built perfectly to play the sport. His build, his height, his weight, his speed, his ball control, his shot power, heading ability, quickness, intelligence, all of that. So he's like the second coming. He's Pele 2.0
Nah, I wouldn't even
at
say.
this point.
I get that. I get that. But you know who he reminds me of? Two players, and these are way before my time, so definitely like being a history nerd, I'm probably the only person who could have relate these two together. But he is what you get if you were to take the best and everything of Eusebio and merge it with Ronaldo, original Ronaldo.
The R9 Ronaldo. Oh gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
like that's what you have. Like that's literally
Yeah,
what you have right now. Like, I mean, we're probably we're talking about everything, but like his time in Monaco, you saw the rawness of a young great striker, right? And then in PSG, you see
yeah.
him becoming this not almost finished product because he's nowhere. Like I still don't think he's hit his peak. Like I think he's starting to hit his peak where it's like you can see he's doing a lot of stuff just off of like, oh, I'm more athletic you. But now he's starting to be more cerebral,
Yeah,
and it's the
yeah,
way how he plays is so much different. But then like in the France squad, and I think by far probably because one, I picked France to win in 2018, so it's my World Cup as well. You saw how he took that team that crashed out at the 2022. I mean, not 2022, at the 2016
2020.
Euros in France, got to the final, lost to Portugal, and he leads them to the World Cup in 2018.
Yeah,
And then even in 2022, he has the arguably the man of the match performance and arguably the greatest World Cup final ever.
I don't know if we can. Well, in terms of the present era, I think it's unarguable that was degraded. Unfortunately, from where it
Who
was,
had a better scenario?
where it was
You
located,
said it
whatever.
yourself.
But
You said it yourself. This man scored a hat trick
it,
in a World
I
Cup
mean,
final.
he dominated the game. He absolutely dominated the game, and
And also, I just
I
want to point
I
out,
personally think Argentina got through to penalty kicks by the skin of their teeth. They
oh
started
yeah,
off
100,
great, and then Kylian Mbappe woke up and almost destroyed them.
100%,
So
100%.
and that's the thing that these are the types of moments that mark a superstar. When you're looking at a legend like Lionel Messi, this is his final, and you're gonna go try and crash the party like that. I mean, that's a statement by
The
Mbappe
boy
saying
almost
that yes,
crashed
you
it.
may have
it
won this, you may have won this World Cup, but you are now going to have to pass that torch to me because I'm taking it from you. Because
and
at
it
this
was,
point right now, I can't say that you can't really argue intensely that Messi is right now a better player than Kylian
Oh no.
Mbappe is right now
This is the thing.
because of age, because of
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, this is the thing. He's technically almost completed football. Like the only thing missing truly is a Champions League. That can happen. You know, they're still in the if you're listening to this, they're in the knockout stages now. He can win a Champions League, and he's dang sure going to win one
yeah,
when he makes his move to Real Madrid. Like that's the only thing left that
yeah,
anyone can knock him on. He's won a World Cup. If you want to hold maybe a Euros, but I mean, he's won a World Cup and won the man of the match in the final. Then he almost won again.
yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm
And
just saying.
that's another big thing. I mean, I think he's in a small group of players that have been to to consecutive World Cup finals. And I
Yeah,
think a lot of the other guys on that France squad can claim the same, but literally consecutive World Cup finals. You look
and you
at
score in both
France's other
finals.
greats. You look at Zidane. Zidane has only been to two World Cup finals, and they weren't consecutive. But I just feel that Kylian Mbappe is one of those players who is going to be a once in a lifetime situation. And I personally feel that our generation, we have been spoiled to literally go from R9 and Ronaldinho to Messi and Ronaldo. Now we've got Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, and now Jude Bellingham coming out. We have been spoiled with the stars that have literally have taken the stage for us to be able to watch. And Kylian Mbappe is like we said, the complete player. He's the top of that echelon. He's one of those guys who can literally plug into any team and he can take that team by the scruff of the neck and take it beyond what that team would ever be able to think of doing without him.
Yeah. And the only reason why I have not bought a Kylian Mbappe jersey, I mean, I might. I need to buy a France one, but it's because he plays for PSG. The moment he moves to Real Madrid, I am buying that jersey.
I'm getting
I
one.
am
I am getting one. And unfortunately, the I know this isn't really what we're talking about, but unfortunately, I feel like when he moves, if he moves, well, I'm not gonna say if when he moves to Real Madrid, Real Madrid are gonna monopolize all international competitions because the way the squad is already built, they're solid enough as it is. Yes, they have a few slips and cracks. They're missing a key striker, and that's it. And that's who he would be. He would come in and take that spot that has been missing. And imagine him playing right in front of Jude Bellingham. It's
it's crazy,
that's
bro.
just
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, it's interesting, and you think of some of the greats that have graced the pitch that we have had the good fortune of seeing play, and just thinking about pace, we have a lot of speedsters in the game right now. We've got Hakimi who's playing at PSG. We've got the Canadian Alfonso Davies. We've got pacey players, but as fast as they are, I don't think I forgot who PSG were playing against. There was a moment where there was a breakaway, and Kylian Mbappe was nowhere near the closest player to the ball. And you see him on the footage, he starts moving and it looks like he's jogging. If you were to only look at him on the screen, it would look like he was jogging, but he is streaming past everybody and somehow overtakes 4, 5, 6 different players on his team and the opposing team to get to that ball first. And he made it look like he was going for a jog. That's scary. That's just absolutely terrifying when someone can make something that electrifying look so easy.
Yeah. How does it is? I mean, let's start like let's look at Mbappe's whole career. Let's start off with his time in Monaco, right? And we're talking about a Monaco squad that more or less, like we talked about it once before, Shanair, about the Ajax squad back in the early '90s, how that squad impacted so much of world football because of who they had in the squad at the time, from Clarence Seedorf to Patrick Kluivert to Edgar David. Like you had Louis Van Gaal, like the vast range of the web that squad casted over world football is insane. Fast forward, Monaco, this team had Bernardo Silva, Kylian Mbappe, of course, Fabio, Falcao. Was it Fabio? No, not Fabio. God, what's his name? Fabinho. There it is. I think Fabinho was in the squad.
Fabinho, there you go.
Yeah. It was another one. I can see his face right now, and no one's not back there. But you know, it's the whole vast of them. And like that squad, the run they had on, I remember like this is like one of the first Champions League finals that I was like.
You're looking at this vast group.
Yes. Like this is one of the first Champions Leagues that I'm really like invested in. Like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch this. And I remember that Monaco squad going into Man City. This is the beginning stages of Pep. And honestly, I think this is just me, but there's a splitter point here where if Man City beats Monaco, and I think if he beats them well, I don't think Pep goes after Bernardo Silva. How does that have Bernardo Silva impacts the Man City dynasty? Because we know, along with Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva's been one of the more pivotal points in the Man City destiny. But that's a different podcast for a different day. Talking about Mbappe's role in this, like I think that was the series where Mbappe said, "I'm here." Yeah.
Yes, that was his introduction to the world. Really, he kind of let the world know. All right, you've been hearing whispers, you've been hearing rumors. I'm here to let you know that these rumors are true. And he hit the center stage and he showed what he can do. And only at how old was he? Like 18, 17, 18?
Yeah, he was young.
Just insanely starting to take over. Yeah, so because that was 2016, so he was 17, 17 or 18.
Scored against Man City one night.
You're and you look at the game right now. There are a lot of young players in the game right now. You look at Jude Bellingham, Garnacho, just a lot of very young players who, and even the ones that are kind of getting into more of the peak of their careers right now. Your Christian Pulisic, your Kylian Mbappe himself, your Neymar, who when they were young, just a lot of players like at a very young age hitting height that you did not expect them to hit at a very young age. But a lot of times, Marcus Rashford, he's still a staple as a player right now, but has he hit the height that the promise of when he first came out gave to us? When you look at Garnacho right now, I'm starting to wonder, is he going to peter out quickly? Kylian Mbappe has hit those heights in 2015, 2016 season, and he's never looked back. He's just continued to to deliver week in, week out, year after year for the past, 7, 8 years. And he's only 25 and he's accomplished so much.
Yeah, no, he has. He's accomplished a lot, man. And I think the whole Monaco era, like his whole time in Monaco, he accomplished a lot there. Obviously went on to go win the league. But Monaco had to break that squad up. And I think now Monaco's just now recovering from that squad truly being broken up because I think they almost got relegated at one point. Like not the following year, but like I think
Yeah.
2018, 2019, I think they almost got relegated. So you can see like how much talent was in that team that got pulled apart, by the success. And so
Yeah.
this is how crazy I remember this. This is how crazy the transfer fee was for Kylian Mbappe. So PSG, instead of buying him outright, had to loan him in for a year to break the transfer payment up into two parts. So year one, they loan him in and they pay half the fee. I forgot how much the fee was, but it was something crazy. Like I think almost like 180 million. Yeah, something around that range. So they pay 90 the first year, and then year two they pay the other 90, but he's obviously that player by then. And it's just like, yo, like we're talking about a 200 million, almost a $200 million striker who is 18 years old. Like you, boy, you better be good. Like,
I mean, he's proved it.
yeah, he surely has. I mean, his time at PSG, you could say, has been filled of ups and downs. It's been turbulent. Like, I think PSG was trying to recreate what Real Madrid did in the early 2000s and have instant success. Because PSG, let's be honest, like PSG main thing is not about League 1. It's not about being the best in League 1. It's about being on that world stage with Bayern Munich, with Real Madrid, with Barcelona, with Man City, are like all the top English clubs, the European, I mean the Italian trio, like is to be on that stage. So if you look at it from that standpoint, PSG is like, all right, let's try to make our own Galacticos. When they brought in Neymar, they brought in Mbappe, they brought in Messi, and it hasn't really paid off what they thought it would.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing, I think the reason why you're seeing such a high price for a player of his caliber is just the consistent shine that he's had ever since he first touched the ball. There, he went to a small Catholic school in France growing up as a kid, and he started playing at the age of 5 or 6 for AS Bundy. And the
Mm-hmm.
coach at the time, he said, he's the first time he saw Kylian Mbappe play, he was 6 years old. His dribbling was already great. He was faster than all the other kids. He was just different. At 6 years old, and you're already turning heads. I mean, most kids at 6 years old don't even know how to kick the ball the right way, and he's already dribbling past the players and stuff. And it's just crazy. And of course, and this goes back to when we were talking. We did an episode on Nicholas Anelka.
Yeah.
You're seeing this consistent reoccurring thing with all of these French players. Kylian Mbappe did spend some time at the Clairefontaine Academy. And again, that is another add-on to that price tag because that is the equivalent of back in the early 90s. Oh, you're in the Ajax Youth Academy, you can tack on a whole 2 million to your contract because of the notoriety that the Ajax Youth Academy had. Like right now, Clairefontaine is today what that Ajax Youth Academy was back then. So many of the stars, I would say probably, I'd say a mass majority of the 2018, the mass majority of all of the France national team squads in the 2000s and on, vast majority of those players have come out of Clairefontaine.
Yeah.
Zidane, Mbappe, Conte, uh, Petit, Patrick Vieira, Olivier Giroud, Griezmann. I mean, all of these guys have had time at Clairefontaine and have gone through. And Clairefontaine has created so many stars: Thierry Henry, Nicolas Anelka. The list goes on. So when at a very young age, you're already getting invitations to come visit the club from Real Madrid, from Chelsea, from Liverpool, from Man City, from Bayern. Uh, it that's already a big sign. Again, these things add on to that transfer fee. It's just adding millions to the transfer fee. That notoriety at a young age, and by the time you reach the time where PSG are ready to buy him, on top of that, PSG is now new oil money. So Monaco is going to be like, no, you're going to give us money because we know you have it. So, but saying all of that doesn't diminish the fact that Kylian Mbappe has matched that price tag.
Oh yeah.
PSG got what they paid for and then some for Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
I mean, just at the end of the day, he's the record top goal scorer of all time for PSG, and he's 25.
Yeah. Once again, like I will say, he's completed football at 25. And now let's talk about his World Cups. 2018 World Cup. We're talking about this is his first international major tournament. Like he wasn't part of the 2016 squad, right? And this is the squad France who just lost the Euros to Portugal to a Cristiano Ronaldo less team. So all that coming into 2018, where they're talking about as one of their favorites of this World Cup, like this is their stage, like this is their time. And I remember it, Benzema didn't get selected, and that was a bit. And by the way, if you want to hear more about this 2018 World Cup, if you go back in our podcast feed, there's a 2-part episode. I forgot the show title number, but there's a 2-part episode you should listen to. We talk about the 2018 World Cup in depth. So I'm not going to speak much about that team in whole, but Mbappe comes on and he lights the tournament up. Like there's 2 games that stick out in my head about Mbappe. The game against Argentina and the final. And it was like 2 more moments where it was like, here I am. I'm going to show you why I'm this good and why I'm going to be this good.
And it's not even because if you were to compare that France squad of the 2018 World Cup to the Argentina squad of the 2022 World Cup, you look at an Argentina squad that has a lot of good players that are working together with a talisman, Messi. That wasn't the 2018 France squad. So Kylian Mbappe is shining among other stars, among Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud, Dembele, N'Golo Kante, who at the time was the by far and away, unarguably, the best defensive midfielder in the world. He had just come off of winning back-to-back Premier Leagues with Leicester and then with Chelsea, and just completely being one of those players that everyone knows you got him in the midfield, he's going to disrupt everything.
Yeah.
You had I mean, and just going back to the 2 games you mentioned, you have your Paul Pogba, who was a big star, who was probably a bigger star than Kylian Mbappe up until the end of that World Cup. You have great moments like in that Argentina game, the Benjamin Pavard goal. Still, in that entire World Cup, the one who comes on top and who shines brighter than all of them is Kylian Mbappe. And that's hard to do with that squad, with the squad that France had in that World Cup. That's extremely hard to do.
Dude, that 2018 World Cup was chef's kiss, man. Some of the performances he's put on were amazing. Like, honestly, I still go back and watch highlights of that 2018 World Cup, man. Just of him, just because it's like you can see he's becoming one of the world's best. Like the baton is being passed to him in that moment. And
Yeah,
from this, like honestly, like you can see this is where a lot of the friction of PSG start to come into because him and Neymar are teammates, and Neymar was for a long time recognized as the third greatest player in the world. Like it was Ronaldo, Messi, 1A, 1B, and then it's Neymar. And honestly, maybe this is episode we should do is look at the Neymar and how his trajectory has gone because he went from being known as the next Neymar to being a meme at the 2018 World Cup because of the amount of roles that he did. Like, and this is where you see PSG switch their attention from, oh, Neymar's a superstar, oh, Neymar's the guy, to maybe we should look in Mbappe and put our chips behind him. So much so that it created a rift. It forced Neymar to go to Saudi Arabia. He kind of exited the greatest player of all time conversation at the same time. Like, so much of this that you can look at it from different dynamics.
Yeah, and you look at Neymar, you look at his early career, early in his career when he was around the age that Mbappe was when he first came out, like 17, 18 years old over there in Brazil, just completely just destroying people. Everyone was looking at Neymar like this kid is unfair. Like any team that he is a part of, it's unfair. And for him to go to Barcelona and be part of the greatest front trio of all time, in my opinion, MSN, that was just, it was insane. Like he was going to Barcelona and just having a party with Messi and Suarez every weekend. And now he comes to PSG, and I think what also made it worse is I think he moved to PSG in order to get out of Messi's shadow, only to fall into Kylian Mbappe's shadow. Yeah. And
because I think there's 1 year where Neymar is the only person at PSG, and then I think the next year they bring in Mbappe. I think if I remember that correct. Yeah, I think that's how it went, right? I think Neymar's first at PSG. And then and then Mbappe comes. And then you can see PSG kind of shift their attention to Mbappe and how that, yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's just, it's interesting. But one thing that I feel has kind of slowed his career down a little bit is I think at a young age, some of the ego was starting to get to him, especially with the deal that he had made with PSG on one of his more recent contract renewals, where he's given a lot more power than a player should have. And it did.
That's another reason why the whole PSG squad broke up.
Yeah. So that's another reason why that squad broke up. Though you have pieces that are not gelling together very well, because at the end of the day, yes, he is a star, but at the end of the day, he is a player. And to be honest with you, when you look at the success of PSG with Kylian Mbappe, it is extremely limited. Because let's be honest, they have more money than almost all of the other league teams combined. They should be winning it every year. That's not a big deal. They haven't won a Champions League. They haven't looked like a cohesive team in Europe, ever. And but then you turn around and you look at the France squad. One situation is the 2018 finals was a perfect example of what happens when even the greatest player in the world just listens to the coach. You saw at the beginning of that game, and I remember being frustrated when I was watching it. I was like, Kylian Mbappe is sitting so deep on that right side. He's sitting so deep. He's not pushing forward. He's not driving forward like we saw him do all tournament. He was sitting real deep. He was playing more like an outside midfielder than a winger. And it's only in the second half, in the second part of the second half, that you saw him start to drive up the field more. And it was intentional. And that's when I realized that was Didier Deschamps. He told him, sit back, let's keep attack. We're going to attack. Yes, we're going to attack, but you're going to sit back because this Croatia team is not only they're a lot older, they have a lot more mileage on their legs, and they went through quarterfinals and semifinals going all the way to penalty kicks. So their legs are tired. You bring them into the second half, and then Kylian Mbappe starts running at them. There was nothing that Croatia could do. And all Kylian Mbappe had to do in that situation was listen to Deschamps. Listen to Didier Deschamps. Because as the coach, he knew better. I think at PSG, there's been a certain ego that has prevented him from listening to every single coach that they bring in, that they're running through. They're bringing in coaches left and right, and he's not respecting any of them. And we saw a little bit of a bite back from that at the beginning of this season where he was benched for a lot of the games in the first half of this season. And that is basically the coach saying, look, I'm not going to put up with your nonsense. I'm the coach. You may be one of the greatest players of all time, but you are still a player, and you need to play as part of the team. One thing that I feel right now is
Luis Enrique, like the guy that created MSN.
Yeah.
So I mean, in
that is true.
Yeah, and I mean within that is like, if I give a kid this great contract at 24, of course he gonna walk around like, oh yeah, I own the place. The reason why, so the deal that I know you're referring to there is like also like PSG put in there. I think he has like what ownership rights in the club or something like that. Like it's something wild. But they had to do all this stuff because it was the fear of losing him to Real Madrid on a free, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, that would have been on a free, and that would have been the biggest loss.
Yo, can you imagine losing Kylian Mbappe on a free and not seeing that payday?
After signing him for how much? No.
Everybody would have been fired.
Yeah, so
everyone would have been fired.
Yeah.
Everyone would have been fired. Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like if we transition now and talk about like, what's next for Kylian Mbappe? Like what is next? I think this could be his last year at PSG. Get the move to Real Madrid, and that's really where, to me personally, like Mbappe doesn't need to do anything else to cement his legacy. He's already done it.
He has.
Like,
he has
done it.
The only thing that's left is, like we said, is the Champions League, and I think a move to Real Madrid will assure that. Right. I honestly think they might even shine him as early as in the next couple of days in the January transfer window, because I feel that, and you see connections between Mbappe and Messi in terms of career path and style and all of that, but you also see connections with Cristiano Ronaldo. And I feel that Messi is literally a combination of Messi. Mbappe is a combination of Messi and Ronaldo. And also in terms of Ronaldo, Real Madrid being his childhood dream club.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing that that was said. I can't remember where I saw that. It was said that he at the school that he went to, um, he was considered a brilliant student, but a bit. I wouldn't say troubled, but he had an attitude, of course, and he thought he was all that, and he as a kid he was a kid, but he started taking Spanish, and within a year he learned how to speak Spanish fluently, and I see that as him saying, "I'm going to learn how to speak Spanish because one day I'm going to play for Real Madrid." Um,
Yeah.
he's always aspired to play for that club, and with that being said, at the he I think it's gonna be Real Madrid very, very soon. Real Madrid have been sniffing around Kylian Mbappe ever since he was on loan at PSG.
Yeah.
So if he is to go to Real Madrid, there is no way that Kylian Mbappe will be bigger than Real Madrid. So he will have to go back to the mindset of I am a player on this squad, and he
But
is going.
Shaneer,
That I think that's when you're going to see Kylian Mbappe light it up.
but Shaneer, he'll be the closest thing to it.
Yeah, no, he will be. He will be.
Like,
He'll come the
honestly, like,
closest of
bro,
any
like,
player.
I will say this: if Kylian Mbappe moves to Real Madrid, it might be the first soccer segment outside of Messi coming to MLS that gets 24-hour coverage. Like
Yep,
that's
it will.
like no other move in the world gets that type of publicity.
To be honest with you, the closest thing to what we will see with Mbappe moving to Real Madrid is Cristiano Ronaldo moving to Real Madrid from Manchester United because that made big noise. This is gonna eclipse that.
Yeah, that made big noise. It did. But I don't know. Like it's nothing. I don't think it will ever
Yeah,
be anything like this. Just because of his following, he's one of the world greatest already. The amount of money is going to be like the contract is going to be stupid. Like, I'll say this:
another.
Mbappe.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this: can you give me the top three highest selling jerseys of all time?
No,
You
I have
said
no
two of
idea.
them already. You said two of them already.
So Pele is probably one.
No, Pele's not even in the top.
Neymar.
No, we just literally just said these two names.
Oh well, yeah. So Messi and Ronaldo, I guess you
Yeah,
would
so
say.
Messi's inner move is second all time, and Ronaldo's to Manchester United is third. Number one happened this past. It happened literally 2023. It was a baseball player. He went to the Dodgers. You know what I'm talking about? Otani.
Oh,
Yeah, he has the highest selling jersey of all time. Yeah,
really?
yes, I know you don't watch baseball like that, but like Otani is like that. Like he's a pitcher
No,
that can hit.
I've heard of him. I've
Yeah,
heard of him. I mean, he's big enough for me to have heard of him.
yeah. Like nah, like he like that. I think if Mbappe goes to Real Madrid, it's taking that number one spot. Like, it's gonna be stupid.
Oh,
It's gonna be crazy. It's
absolutely,
gonna be
absolutely.
crazy. I mean, what outside of that, like outside of winning a Champions League in Real Madrid and maybe an international, like not international, but how can I put this? Like a continental trophy for France, right? Like winning a Euros or UEFA. What they call that tournament?
Nations League.
Yes, Nations League. There you
Nations
go.
League.
Yeah.
I don't think many of them care about that.
Well, I mean,
I don't think
winning a
somebody.
continental tournament, just winning one of that or the Euros, and the Euros is going to happen this summer. Winning one of those two. To be honest with you, what else is there else for him to do?
No, I don't know. I mean,
okay, let me say this. He would probably have to win another World Cup and 2 Champions Leagues to be known as the greatest striker ahead of R9. Like, if I gave you these three names, Cristiano Ronaldo, R9, Mbappe, how would you rank them? Is the greatest striker. I'm not putting Messi because Messi's more like he played a lot of right wing and false nine, but just pure striker.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I'd have to put, even though R9 to me was a better player all around in terms of striker, I'd have to put CR7 out of those three. I mean, the goal scoring machine. When he started to realize that he did not have what it took to be a winger anymore, he didn't have that pace anymore. He perfected his art as a striker. R9 revolutionized the role, the number 9 role, by the way he played. So I definitely put him as a close second. But Kylian Mbappe has the potential to surpass both of them. He's still young enough that he's got plenty of time to surpass both of them, especially if he goes to Real Madrid. Both of those guys were at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. If he goes to Real Madrid, because you got to think about it. One thing that is going to bring so much noise to him going to Real Madrid is not only him and his notoriety, but what he's going to do to the stars that are already there. When you look at Vinicius has been starving for a reliable striker to play off of or to play into. Vinicius Jr.'s career is going to have a complete jumpstart again. It's going to be rebooted. Jude Bellingham is already tearing things up he's tearing things up as a number 8. Imagine how much more insane he will be with Kylian Mbappe in front of him as an easy service to someone who's going to put it in the back of the net. I mean, I think we may end the season with Kylian Mbappe having the most goals in the season, and Jude Bellingham, if he stays at Real Madrid and Mbappe stays at Real Madrid, Jude Bellingham will have the historic most assists, because you put that in front of him, he's going to gobble it right up, and those guys are going to hit another gear. Rodrigo is going to completely start tearing things up on the right side because he'll have Mbappe to play off of and to play into. So him coming into that Real Madrid side is going to do so much for the squad, simply because of what he brings. Just simply because of the fact that Kylian Mbappe is that level of a player.
Yeah, for real, he is. And I think that's a good part for us to probably stop at. I mean, my bad. I need to go drink some water. We haven't even mentioned how, like, the comparisons between him and Thierry Henry are. Like, it's insane. Like, we can talk about I can talk about Mbappe all day. But I think this is like a good synopsis of who he is, his legacy, that he's building on and what's to come from.
Yeah,
Would you agree, Snare?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, with that being said, listener, we want to say thank you for taking the time of your day to listen to our podcast. Because without you, we couldn't do this. So much so that we are working hard to get more episodes out to you guys. And trust me. For everyone that listens to the show, we appreciate you. Once again, we could not do this without y'all. This little side project of ours, and we love doing it. So, with that being said, as always, for Shanair, for myself, keep it black, y'all. And remember, Mbappe might be bigger than Real Madrid, and I'm buying that jersey when he signs. As always, we will holler at you guys later. Be safe, be easy. Peace.